Hey, y'all, we live yet? Let's do this. What's up with it out there, all you Facebookers, YouTubers, and whatever else that y'all on? Welcome to the Is What It Is show, the show where we tell it like it is. And y'all know this is season 2, Uno Dos, who love them the most. It is what it is. And y'all know what the church people say. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All you snows, crows, tacos, Oreos, Fritos, and you hoes. What's up with it out there? Some of y'all call it a thirsty Thursday, tacky Thursday, but we call it a terrific Thursday. Guess what don't do? Don't believe the hype in here, because I got my crew with me. I got the cuz, Bub, Love. I got my boy TJ, and I got my dog who's knocking about it. Bros, and guess what, y'all? We got a special guest. The boy got the same name, say Jasmine. Phillip Yates, he gonna tell us all about being a lawyer, attorney, a teacher, a preacher, and an electrician around here. Y'all, guess what? We in Corona season. Ram, hit that Corona dance. We don't need it, do we? It's fake, that's what it be to you, dig me? Y'all know what I say. All you fakers, shakers, and candlestick makers, it's a tough kitty, but the milk is sweet. Bub, get us out of here. Don't believe the hype. Man. Don't believe the hype. Don't y'all believe that hype? Don't believe it.
Yeah. Okay. Man, I'm starting to think like these introductions, real. Like I feel like we got to bring back like with us like Marvin Gaye or Jam Master Jay to come on these introductions that he's giving us. Like they're phenomenal, man. They're getting better. Like I'm glad we can start hearing them every time. Yeah. See, and he want to play some music over. Yeah, okay.
Y'all better not believe the hype around here. Right. Cause it is what it is. Gonna tell y'all like it is. We gonna tell y'all this game, and we ain't gonna sell this game. So don't believe it. Remember, there's a need.
Yeah,
hey, bud, you know I got some new equipment, baby, and I didn't purchase this from the pawn shop.
Yeah, see, moving on up. Yeah, 2022 been good to you so far,
huh? It's been so good.
Already. What's up, T?
Man, all good, brother. All good. What's up, Rev?
Man, you know how it is, baby. We getting it. It's hard but fair out there in the land. B-Dub.
B-Dub.
Famous enough.
Great.
Say famous enough. B-Dub been busy, huh? My niece, she swimming. She playing volleyball.
Yeah,
it's a lot going on.
Yeah, she got a whole 2 seasons going on in one, man. So just trying to keep up with my baby. Shout out to Brooklyn, man. Worldwide.
Shout out to Brookie Wookie, Wonka Wednesday, and Lance Pants, and TJ. I don't know your kid's name, but shout out to you.
Diggity Bob Marley over there.
Kids and parents.
Hey, buddy, I wanted to throw in my little kudos and shout outs, man, for the week, man.
What you got?
Bruh, let me tell you. So, you know, a lot of times when you get busy at work, right, you know, you want to eat something. So usually that's when you eat unhealthy. Now, you might not know that. I know you always be trying to eat a salada or something like that for lunch. And Kinfolk over there, he always at Whole Foods out there in the Woodlands picking up some. And the Rev, he gonna always keep some form of organic greenery out there in that 1960 area, you know. So
organic, huh?
So today, man, I want to give my shout out today, man. It's just the little things in life. You know, so much going on. Life is too short. Little things you take for granted. I want to give a kudos and shout out to the McDonald's on Will Clayton in Humble, Texas today. I've had this sandwich quite a bit, but they hooked up my Texas home style meal today. It was perfectly done well with the lettuce, tomatoes, and the burger itself. I had a medium order of fries, a medium Coke, and they even upsold me on some apple pies. I got that 2 for $1 on them apple pies, man.
That boy got that 2 for that boy got
Yeah.
that 2.
Who did that for you? Calvin upgrade?
Man, took care of me, bro.
Yeah,
I mean, you know,
okay.
just something little like that put a smile on my face. So once again, shout out to the McDonald's on Will Clayton in Humble, Texas.
Telling me they gave
What? They got 2 apple pies on the upgrade, y'all.
That boy Calvin got him.
And I know y'all boys don't eat at McDonald's much, but everybody got to have a favorite meal.
Man,
Hey.
Big Mac is mine.
I don't even know if I have a favorite meal, man, to be honest.
I get a quarter pounder with cheese, no onions. If I had to get something from there.
Or
Yeah.
even 2 cheeseburgers, fries, no salt on them. That mean they got to go make them right then and now. In a Coke.
Oh, the fries.
That's the trick. That's the
Yeah.
trick. Old school trick, real.
I just taught y'all something.
Yeah. One day I gotta tell y'all the story about us, McDonald's, and SFA.
Okay.
And it's
Yeah.
it's One day we gotta tell that story. We ain't got time to do it tonight because speaking of SFA, we got somebody we gotta bring in from SFA.
Yes, sir.
But first, we gotta honor our Heavenly Father. Heavenly Father, we know we just don't say thank you enough to where we're saying thank you now and thank you for the opportunity of just being here, being having a conversation and being able to be amongst friends. And Lord, let our conversation be as a teaching lesson for us on today, and also just learning about what's going on in the world and also the opportunities that we may have in front of us. But we want to have these things revealed to us only by you, because we know we're doing your work and your will in doing so. Lord, just thank you once again for being here. Thank you for the fluid conversation we want to have. Lord, just thank you for all the McDonald's on the east side of Houston. To allow for great things that happen to where we realize the small things are important also. Heavenly Father, we just thank you once again for small things, big things, and the things you have coming forth. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
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 Fish
All right.
and debris.
Yeah. Think of the sandwich name that you had. It was all good. So, real. Let's get Mr. Phillip Yates, also known as Phill, Lil Phill, boys from Africa. I mean, it's just like everything. It's like this opportunity. This is a great guy. So I want to get him his introduction right when he come in, because he part of the process. Cause
He part of that process.
he part of the process.
Hey man, guess what? Let's slide him over and turn him up a little bit. What's up with it one more time? I told y'all we got a special in our depth for you tonight. The boy is an entrepreneur and you never knew it. What's up with it? He go by the name of Phillip Yates. The boy got my same name. Say he's our lawyer. So Phillip Yates, come on in as I let this groove jam a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, you got it rolling.
Wait. I want the Public Enemy. Can we do that one more time? I don't believe the hype.
He ain't believing the hype.
Yes, sir. Y'all that's my boy Phillip Yates. So if you gonna leave your old lady, that's the man that go sing.
Wait. That's not how the commercial goes. That's
So
if you gonna leave your old lady, that's who you need to go see.
yo, welcome, Phillip Yates.
What's going on, y'all?
Man,
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Mr. Yates.
I don't know where that came from, and I heard you make a request for that Public Enemy, but so I'm gonna give you something about the Rev. He's our local DJ, but he's just our local DJ. If that makes sense. So we're not gonna get outside the realm. The stuff we told him to play, or what he wanted to play, and that's it. We can't go back.
Tell me my man wanted entrepreneur.
Yeah, and you played. You did a great job. Really appreciate that.
No, I'm good.
I want time bomb.
Okay, there you go. See, now you get it.
Oh!
I see your face. There you go.
Look, could I teach you that Corona shot dance right quick?
Go ahead.
Phil, baby, when you done had your Corona. Yes, sir. My bad, Phil. I didn't know you wanted me to spin it back.
Hey, man.
That was good, though. That
Did
was good.
somebody put some pre-workout in your coffee?
Well,
Right?
yeah. A whole bunch of it.
Hey, Phil, he's somewhere in between a 10-day contract and the G League.
He didn't get no playing inside.
I told you, I DJ'd a party Saturday. Everybody was in wheelchairs and on walkers, baby. So I could get it.
Wheelchairs and walkers. There's only, like I said, there's only two places you could have been, man. The old folk home or at the hospital.
Uncle Rob, Clifton Ellis, and Tariq. What's up with it out there this evening?
Yeah, we see y'all.
Got my uncle watching. He said, "What a burger on Texas toasted."
Yeah, I feel him on that one.
See,
Yeah.
they gotta put my tomatoes right. He eat the burger.
I feel him on that one.
Well, TJ had a great experience at McDonald's, so that's what he want to talk about. His experience at McDonald's, right?
Y'all know TJ mama when he told him he wanted McDonald's. She said, "Boy, you gonna eat McDonald's at home," and went home and made him a hamburger.
Well, yeah.
And it was way better. And it was way better at McDonald's. I promise you that.
With a big case soda water.
Yeah, talking about she ain't got no McDonald's money.
Yeah, hey, mom cussed him out. I already know that happened.
Hey, this podcast tonight was really not about McDonald's. Tell you the truth.
No,
that's the way it tend to go. So we do have a guest, and let's get to him because he got a lot going on, man.
Baby.
Appreciate you.
He didn't seem to mind very much, Michael.
Huh?
He didn't seem to mind very much.
No, he was over there killing himself. But we got to put him to work.
I don't have no Dwight. It feel like
Your
I got
your mouth.
You probably do. Yep, you got it around your mouth.
I feel like I got some Dwight.
Yeah.
White, huh?
Yeah. So Phil,
What up?
what's up, man? What's up? I'm glad you're on. Appreciate you getting on.
I appreciate y'all. I told y'all, it was either two things. I was either going to be at my daughter's ballet practice or I was going to be with you guys. So my bad.
Yeah.
Y'all told me to keep it real. It is.
Yeah, you keep it real. Yeah,
It is what it is. But Phil said he was going to blow up a blow up around here, baby.
The cover story when he get home, he better say he was in litigation because man, it's gonna be hell to cabin to miss that.
No, this is work. I told my wife this is work. I said I got work.
Okay.
Said he was on meal doing barbecue tonight.
Right. So let's take it back. Let's take it back. Phillip Yates. Back to what you can remember to the bottom, in the mud, as everybody's saying now where you came from.
All right.
But like you were born in Houston, correct?
Born in Houston, A-Leaf, Texas, Southwest.
Okay.
Southwest,
Okay.
baby. Southwest,
Southwest.
What?
Southwest side. Okay.
The real South Side.
And the high school you went to was what high school you went to?
A-Leaf Elsik, man.
Okay. So at Elsik, so I'm trying to figure out whenever you transitioned to this Phillip Yates. So, exactly. So I gotta go back. I gotta go back and figure this out. So in you high school, what person were you in high school? Like that guy who did this and that, or the clown that just stood in the corner all the time, or the one who thought he was fly but he wasn't?
Man, so I'll say in high school, my love was basketball, as you know. So that's pretty much what kept me out of trouble. And I think all of us, I think every black man in America has the same story. Like you had three parallels, right? You could be a rapper, you play sports, or you go be a dope boy. And so, my brother, as you know, was a rapper, and then also dibbled and dabbed in the streets. I did basketball, and so that kept me honest, honestly. And then I just kind of stayed in school because that kept me busy, and I enjoy school, enjoy playing basketball. So this Phillip's always there, but there wasn't too much exposure to anything else besides just being a black dude who loved basketball, loved school, go to parties. You mac to the women, see how many numbers you can get at the mall. Then you play some more damn basketball, sleep, take a shower, repeat. And that's really what it was. I don't think I had much ambition outside of that. I enjoyed school. I didn't make bad grades, and I wasn't getting in any trouble like that. But honestly, yeah, basketball was my love.
Okay. So once you left Elsie, where did you go? Or what was that process then?
Man, so there was a girl, right?
Uh-huh.
I told you.
It is.
Always
Yeah,
one.
there you go.
Yeah, so everybody was talking about where they're going to college at. And I'm like, well, okay, well, I applied to some schools, but she said, hey, I'm going to SFA. So I said, well, shit, okay, let me apply down there. And then I called down to the coach, and then my coach I played for at Elsig knew that coach, and so he said, yeah, sit him down here. He has a good chance of walking on. So I had it all laid out. I was going to go down there, play basketball. You get the girl, and you keep the party going.
Right.
So that's what that transition really was. And I even tell my wife today, I say, man, I mean, don't get me wrong. I knew I was going to college, but that was the motivation. And I'll be honest, man, I know there's always to tell him, Aaron, it's always a girl. So thank you. And obviously my wife, my lovely wife, Chelsea Yates. Thank you, babe, for saving my life. You are the apple in my eye. All right. I wish I could be there with you.
Yeah.
Now, going back to the story, the transition, I'll tell you, man, I tell you this offline, it was Kappa. Like no BS. Like those are the first group of dudes. Like I had a good dad and a great mom.
Mm-hmm.
But I never knew what my dad did out in the community at that time. I just knew that, hey, he was a good dad and that's all it was. But you never had anything to latch yourself to outside of being a ball player. And we talked about the other examples. And so getting to college, that was the first time I seen people who were older than me, or even we are similar in age, but doing something and progressing. And so that was the first thing I latched myself to. And then it started broadening my horizon. Don't get me wrong, I was always doing great things because of positions I put myself in. But that was the first time I had a network and I really started making that transition to being who I am today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. When did you get to SFA? What year?
99, fall 99.
Okay, fall 99. Okay.
I got married in 99.
Oh, wow.
Man, so you've been married for 23 years? What's the secret?
He don't know.
Y'all lying.
Okay. All right.
So Phil, prior to making the decision to go to Stephen F. Austin, you mentioned other schools. What other schools were you considering?
So U of H, Howard, Temple, and I think I rolled the dice on Harvard. And that was just some old, hey, let me just see if I can get in. Obviously, they called me up and said, what the fuck me? what you
Yeah, see, TJ finna X you off the show because you didn't say Southern.
Right. Exactly.
We've already had that conversation offline.
Yeah.
No, Howard was the one I looked at. And then UT. So I got into UT. And they was like, man, okay, you got decent grades, and you had, I did like PALs and all that stuff. So they were gonna let me in, but I had to start a summer early. Obviously, basketball, girls, going to school early wasn't in the cards. And and so I'm thankful the route I went, but then now that I understand how the economy works and how networking, I'm like, man, that could have been a better decision. Yeah. But obviously, God don't make any mistakes. And so that was the only school that I really took serious. So I had a roommate. We were going to go off, and I was going to start early, and I just pulled the plug on it and decided I was going to, try my luck with the girl in basketball at SFA.
So you just want to chill that summer. You're like, man, I ain't going to school. I'm going to chill.
Yeah, I'm
and you attending SFA, what were some of the things that really was a shock there, or how did things portray to you from your standpoint?
It wasn't a culture shock because, coming from A-Leaf, I mean, obviously you're still in Houston, and then you go out to East Texas, you start seeing like there's some people from smaller towns, and you see the difference in their mindset and yours. And so it wasn't a culture shock, but it allowed me to grow. And so that's why I say it's a blessing, because if I would have went to UT, obviously you're going to the flagship school, you're in a larger classroom. I don't know what I would have evolved into, but you're at SFA, you have smaller classrooms, you're getting to meet influencers and people that you want to network with. You're playing basketball. So really, I think all the skill sets that was already there started to evolve, and SFA allowed me to do that. So what the culture shock was, now you have a family. So I stopped going. It went from that first semester, I'm going home to see my mom. I had a girlfriend back home. Wasn't the girlfriend I went to SFA for. So I had problems.
You're going to leave her anyway. So it's right. Yeah.
But I was going home, and then eventually I stopped going home, and I started just, really immersing myself in the community at SFA, getting involved in certain things. Obviously, we know the pledging, but even other organizations like orientation, student government. And so that was and not necessarily a culture shock, but that's what allowed me to go through personal development. And then I think you see the transition of Phillip today. And so even when I came back home, it's like my mentality was already that you're supposed to be leading versus if I would have went somewhere else, I'm not sure if I would have grown into that.
Right. And you mentioned something earlier about your father or your family. Like, give us the were you all the Cosbys or the Evans process? Like, what was the it's a big it's a big difference. But like some people, like I mean, in being middle class in the late 80s, 90s, we were advancing, but we weren't at the level that we are at now, right? But it's like, what was that? Give me an example of your family life, like with your parents and how they were guiding you in different ways, like especially your father. He's a great guy.
He's an okay guy. I'm joking. Now my dad, obviously one of my mentors, and then my mom is too, and then I think my first hero was my brother, right? And I have a younger sister that I'm still close to this day. But I'll say we're a blended, like, so my family, they were first generation college graduates. So, you got one win on the board, in terms of my chances of being successful, but they also came from the projects. Mm-hmm. And that's all they know. And so you don't have anything, so when you're introduced to money, and I'm not saying good money either, this is just, you're not on the streets, shooting up your arms or alcohol like other people in my family may have, or people from the community they came from. And so they were far from the Cosbys, but they were good parents to usher us through the 80s. So we didn't get caught up, in the crack, epidemic at that time, or in gangs. Like I said, we had exposure, but I got friends that are still doing time because they just got lost in it, and they're not going to get out until they're about 55, 60. Mm-hmm. You just have people didn't make it. But I'll tell you, like, my mom and dad split up in, I think I was like 7th grade. And so that was actually a pivotal moment because, one, my mom did everything she could to make sure all of us graduated. We always had food on the table. And so that was what we grew up in A-Leaf. But my dad, he was progressing in his career in banking. And so at least, I didn't realize, what that meant until I came home. But then he also got married to my stepmom. And so that was a pivotal moment for me as well, where that was the first time I saw another career outside of, hey, can I be a ball player? She's a United States federal judge. And so I was like, okay, cool. Maybe I can be a lawyer. Probably couldn't even spell lawyer at that time. And so that was intervention in my life. I'll tell you that. So later on, that played a big role. But going back to your question, I mean, those times my mom had to make ends meet, where we're eating hamburger helper every single day. And that's no reflection on my dad, but he just wasn't there at that time. But it was never where if something went wrong, he was there. And so we had a blended where if something went wrong, I had a safety net. Mom and dad was going to show up together or not. They were one front. My kids aren't going to fail. And so that's one of the biggest blessings I had. So all the times I fucked up, you got mom and dad to show up at the school. You got mom and dad to call the cops. You got mom and dad to write a letter. And so, I thank God for that. But by no means, do we have the Cosby Show?
Right. Yeah. I mean,
let me ask you this, Phil. Most people who probably don't remember or not familiar with Southwest Houston, SWAT, A-Leaf, Texas, don't know or understand that was actually once gang capital of Houston. How did your mama, as a single parent, I'm assuming, I could be wrong, but I'm assuming at the time, steer you and your siblings, from there? What are some of the things that she often said to you guys, the do's and the don'ts? Because we got a lot of kids coming up nowadays, man. They're coming from single parent homes, and they're not being issued those values anymore. A lot of these kids now are just running wild in elementary school.
Man, Peter, that's a good question. But the reality is, they did the best they could. So honestly, my brother was a part of that, right? And so we're talking about some of the biggest dope dealers that was coming out of A-Leaf and the gang leaders. They were my older brothers. Those were the people that I was around. So when I'm coming home, I'm seeing the money on the table. I know what they're doing I just know what they're doing. But it was normal to us, right? Because like you said, everybody was in a gang. You know, so it was like, okay, cool. But my path was basketball, so it didn't really affect me. And I think going back to the original point, like we never went too far. Like my brother was part of it, but he wasn't. Yeah, like we knew that he was in it, but he wasn't in it so deep where he was going to be locked up for years. And then for me, it didn't even interest me. And so they had that safety net where it's like, I guess maybe it's the security, the confidence, or just the surety that you got family at home. You never was looking for another family. You always knew there was something else. But to your point, you're a product of your environment. And so the things that you did participate in, it's normal. Like those are my boys. I went to school with them. Now we're going to do this. And luckily, none of us went to jail or did any serious jail time. So I'll say they did the best they can. But unfortunately, I mean, we were still a part of it. It just wasn't to the extension where like, hey, it changed the course of our lives. I mean, God rest my brother's soul, but that's not what he died from because of gang violence or being in criminal activity. It was an illness that he caught from a virus. And so he was the great husband, took care of his kids. And obviously for me, you know, my mess ups are self-inflicted, but I'm doing the best I can, obviously. And then once you get a beautiful wife and kids, everything's going well. And the same thing for my sister. But I thank God for them, just keeping them on the straight and narrow.
So Phil, you're a licensed attorney now. And so you received your undergraduate degree at Stephen F. Austin. Tell us what you majored in as far as undergrad is concerned, and then talk to us about the transition and your experience in law school.
Yeah, I did my undergrad. Everything's business for me because I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew I wanted to achieve wealth. I mean, I think it's one of those things where mentally, you have that scarcity mindset. And so I never I tell people since becoming an attorney or having a certain stability in my family, I always try to pack my refrigerator. Like it's weird. Like when I go grocery shopping, I want it to be packed and have all the juices, all the juice box, and all you can eat and everything. And you really don't need that kind of stuff, but it's that scarcity mindset. And so that's why I chose business, because I thought that was going to be the best opportunity for me to create, wealth. So I did management. I even got my MBA while I was at SFA. And then I did corporate America for about a year and a half. And then that's when about a year and a half in, after leaving grad school, coming back to Houston, my brother passed away. And then through that process of grieving, I think they asked me to come back to work. Like they were very, they were good people and they were checking on me, but they're like, well, you're going to come back to work this day. And it just struck like, I'm not ready to go back to work, but I don't control my time. So I mean, there's nothing I can do. And so I literally gave my 2 weeks notice then, and I never looked back to another 9-to-5 corporate job, because I knew now, instead of always looking for money, now most of my greatest asset is time. And so I'm still working that out. I mean, obviously, that takes time in terms of having enough assets and income. And so going back to the question, I'm sorry I went on a tangent. But
no, you're okay.
I left the corporate side, did insurance, had some successes there. I don't know if y'all remember that back in the day when I had the Farmers Insurance Agency, and then transitioned to a nonprofit where I was able to help people start their businesses. But I was using that basically as a job that I can work while I go to law school. And so that's where the law school transition wasn't easy at first. But once I got to Thurgood Marshall School of Law, by that time I was mature. I'd kind of gone through the whole grieving process, stabilized my life, and it was a blessing going to a HBCU. I'll tell you that. No, we talked about Southern because I had experience at South Texas, which I enjoyed, but it wasn't the same when you're around, a culture that looks like you, experience things that you have, and they're intentional about making sure you succeed. Give or take, maybe my kids won't have to do that because, they'll grow up with a lawyer in the house, an entrepreneur, so they can go into other environments and be successful. But I wasn't prepared for that when I first went to law school. So, I went to law school. And then after that, as soon as I came out, I started I worked with my mentor for a few years, and then I started my own practice.
That's awesome. And this is where the transition portion, but I just want to say that before we not getting off of it, but I've watched Phill grow and stuff. It's interesting to hear the kind of the backstory of what I saw in your progression to where you are now. So I'm enjoying this more, but just listening. I don't even want to ask any question. I just want to hear what you're going to say. But it's interesting, seeing somebody how they're raised and how the things that have developed you to the point to where you are. And I'm it's interesting to hear these stories from the person who went through it instead of assuming, he's a trust fund kid. We always thought Phill had stock in lotion because he was always shining all the time. Like it was stuff like that. But like it's just the whole process. But we go twist gears a little bit right here because it's like halfway through the show. We're gonna do some commercials. T.
Yeah, and buddy, we're gonna on the other side. We want to continue the conversation in regards to Phil's career as far as in law and his office and practice and what he does, and then touch on Diversity Fund Houston.
Yep. All right.
And then we also want to get into Equiliberty Inc. So a lot more to come on the second half of the show.
And then for also events that you have going on too later on this year. So
yes,
that's just a teaser to going forward. So we'll do commercials. So of course we gotta do our own. Yeah, we gotta do our own.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Everybody out there in YouTube and Facebook land and IG land, we need you to go out to our YouTube page and subscribe. It's our YouTube channel, should I say. Subscribe to It Is What It Is podcast in all caps with all of the proper spacing. Once again, It Is What It Is podcast, all caps, proper spacing. Please go out to our YouTube channel and subscribe. And thank you to those that have already subscribed.
Absolutely. And it's the real It Is What It Is, because I've seen some other ones on there that it's not what it is.
Yes.
They fake us and shit.
Yeah. All right. Now we want to give a shout out to my man, a.k.a. the Elf, a.k.a. Philly Dog, a.k.a. the Rev, Phill Humber in the building. You can hit him up at 281-960-0763 for all of your auto, home, life, and commercial insurance needs. Please talk to the Rev. Hit the Rev up. He can counsel you. He can make sure that you're, in the right type of risk and the right type of coverages for what you need. Once again, ABM Insurance, the Rev, Phill Humber at 281-960-0763.
Hit him.
All right. It's tax season. Holla at Mo. Call Mo the Tax Man. You can reach out to Mo at 281-954-7777. Again, we talking about Taxman Multi-Services. Go and get those taxes done. Please do not wait until the last minute. Now it's early on in tax season. Call Mo, the Tax Man, 281-954-7777. All right, Kid Creole Cooking. You want to get something to eat? Go holler at my man over at 9739 North Sam Houston Parkway East, Humble, Texas, 77396, Suite 100. It is some of the best Louisiana-style food that you can get from between the Sabine and the Beltway 8. That is my man over off the Beltway. That is Kid Creole Cooking. Holla at him.
Hey, Phil, you been over there yet?
Who, me?
No. You the Rev. I said Phil.
Sure, I'm thinking I'm in a real. He's doing this commercial so good. I'm like, hey, wait, what is it? I need to text him. Like, hey, can you say something from my law firm?
This coming.
My bad.
This coming. We're gonna learn about it first, and then we're gonna do it at the end. We're gonna do a commercial with TJ at the end for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, here you go. T. We still going. But have you been to Kid Creole Cooking?
No. Where's it at?
It's right there by you on Beltway 8. In the parking lot in front of the what's that place? The main event.
Oh, okay.
It's right in front of it. Yeah, you gotta get over there, man. It's a previous guest too. You gotta check it out on the podcast. He was a guest on here also.
All right, hey, look, Chelsea, I'm not doing this. We're gonna go check that out this weekend.
Okay,
he's also one of your fraternity brothers as well, Phil Kappa Alpha Psi.
Yep.
Okay. All right, there we go.
Tell me you're our homeboy, and he charges double. Okay, we're going on TJ.
All right, Houston HBCU Alumni Association. We've talked about HBCUs quite a bit on the podcast so far, but out March the 5th, we will be having one of the largest college fairs / career fairs in the state of Texas, as well as out throughout the country when it comes to historically Black colleges and universities. It'll take place out at the Sheraton near Hobby Airport. There will be more than 40 different universities and colleges represented there. Some of the colleges will include your Hamptons, your Howards, your local universities like Prairie View A&M, Texas Southern University, Grambling, Florida A&M, just to name a few. I'll have more information on that next week during our podcast. We'll continue to promote this. If you have a child that's in middle school, it's never too soon to start. Go out, get them involved, get them exposed to these different colleges and universities. That's what that's here for.
Yes, sir. So we'll go in with my slow commercial. is about the MS Society, riding MS 150 one more time. I think I gotta get with Phill and Rev and beat up, and it's a process I'm thinking about to do something on It Is What It Is podcast for this like a donation drive. So I'll give it to you all. So you all stay tuned and see what if they say yes or no for one, and then if they say yes, and I'll let you know. But in the meantime, you can donate at mssociety.donor.com. Put in my name, Michael Love, and you can donate that way. And we really enjoy like having different organizations support us too. Also, like maybe a law firm, maybe. And maybe some see, y'all missed it. Oh, he's insurance company, ABM. So it's opportunity there to support a great cause where we're getting great results, and we're working for a cure. So that's my process with that. So that was my slow commercial. So we're done with commercials, paying bills. So now we're gonna do one gotta go. So Phill, this is a kind of like a game or a process that we go through every week, and you get a chance to do your own opinion, right?
Okay.
But your opinion can be we can argue about the opinion, and also if it get heated enough, people have got kicked off of this show because their opinion was so outrageous. Like, you know what, it's over with now. You can
click.
And then it's over there.
Okay.
Yeah. So just make sure you tread softly, young tenderfoot. Oh, okay. So we're gonna start with this.
Appreciate you, Uncle Robert. Uncle Robert just threw me a shot out there.
Yeah, he said he got you some insurance. He got insurance through you. That's what's up.
I'll get you some this week, bub.
Thank you. Been asking about 5 weeks, but okay, here you go. So one got to go. It's not easy. But one got to go.
Oh wow,
man.
Get rid of them.
Wow, I think this is easy.
Who you got? Who got to go?
Different world got to go.
Oh,
we already got school days. We got school days coming. We got school days already. Different world got to go. We got school days. You can't replace the Cosby Show. Martin and Will, the Fresh Prince. Those are no.
I got to look at it again. Wait a minute.
Who you say got to go again? A different world. They gotta go.
But you know what? I'm kind of. Well, no, I can't. I'll just say I'm kind of feeling it because those other 3 shows are more of a staple.
Exactly.
And Different World, it was a staple, but it was a small staple, like in the corner,
like a little baby staple.
Yeah, like
a staple to your paper in the corner, like the left.
Exactly.
Left.
On the left corner, the one that rip all the time when you put in your backpack. Yeah, it was a staple. Okay, all right. So we're gonna go a little music right now. We'll switch it up. We're gonna take it latest. Cardi B, one of H-Town finest. Megan Thee Stallion.
H-Town's finest and TSU graduate. That's easy.
That's easy.
She's here to stay. Yeah. Cardi B got to go.
Nah, no man. Who you got, Real?
I'm gonna stay with Megan.
You going Megan? Okay. All right. It's not gonna be easy, man.
I'll go Megan. I'll go Megan too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going Megan all along.
Ocean Park. And if the beat live, Lil Ju made it. Hands on my knees, shaking ass on my thigh shit. Post me a pic, finna make me a profit.
All right.
Hey, so Phill, I know you probably know us, so tell her we need to get on the podcast. That's all you got to say. All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Man, I would love to have Lil Ju, because I keep hearing his name and never seen him before.
Well, you've already had him on there. That's the case.
Well, you got to have the feel. The Rev got to run it back again. That's what she said at the beginning of every song. When the beat dropped.
This brunch, that shit. Order 42 for the table, let's pop shit. Missionary or doggy style on my top shit.
All right, we got to.
Yeah, you missed it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you missed it.
A whole lot right there at the end.
He missed it. Okay, we go to the next one. This is the next. Let me see. Yeah, it's not gonna be easy. I kind of know which one got to go on this one already.
Yeah, this one's kind of,
But it's just with nostalgia. I would say Drew Hill got to go.
I'm with you on that one, buddy. Drew Hill got to go.
Even though Drew Hill got more hits than Jodeci, Drew Hill got to go.
Yeah.
But they still got to go. It's just nostalgia because how many? Well, no, I can't say that. Anyway, I guess how many members you have per group? Like where you were even when you heard this first song from Jodeci or Boys and Men or New Edition. Drew Hill, I guess we were older, so you kind of remember some of the stuff, but not too much of
right.
The stuff you used to rock to. So it's all good. So it's not easy. We're gonna do a long one this time. Which one gotta go?
Oh, come on, man.
Drake
got to go.
Yeah.
Really?
Okay.
That was easy.
Yeah.
That'd be easy. Man, who else you gonna put with those three though?
Big. The guy to
No. I'm
Yates
gonna take
left.
that back. I'm gonna take that back.
Little
I'm not
Wayne,
even putting
Biggie,
Big.
or
I'm not even putting Biggie or Lil Wayne. Man, I'm
I
putting
know where
Faith.
he's going with this, Brad.
Faith.
Jordan.
I'm
Yep,
putting
absolutely.
I'm tired of seeing everybody talking about over this and over
Yeah.
there. I'm putting Faith in that.
Absolutely. Okay, this is about to change up a little bit. So basically,
Oh wow.
which mic you got? Which one got to go? Billie Jean, Rock With You Mike, Beat It Mike, or Thriller Mike? It's pretty much light Mike versus dark Mike.
That's hard.
you didn't get a light mic in there though. Like the bottom two mics are the same mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Billie Jean and that Thriller is kind of like them.
Yeah, that's
them
Quincy Jones' album right there.
Which one got to go?
And Mike, you missing the most important mic.
You're missing a Remember the Time mic. That's the one.
What
we
about
need.
the one that's got to go is the Peter Pan mic?
Oh
Oh no!
He's not here to defend himself. Man.
Oh no!
It's hearsay. That is hearsay in the court of law. He is not here to defend himself.
Oh, no. Which one got to go? Which one got to go? You gotta give me one of them. Which one got to go?
This state.
Yeah, that's
That state.
okay. So let's do this. Hey, let's do this. So you rank from 1 to 4 from the best. As you instead of getting rid of one, you rank them from in order. I would give Rock With You 1, definitely.
Yeah, I'm with you.
What?
You saying as far as more
The
influence?
best. That's the best.
I mean, that's what you enjoy as an adult. But you saying during that time, you would put that over Thriller and Beat It?
No.
Like you're young.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yourself.
All right. All right.
Look at man. That Thriller and Beat It brought so many people to the stage who could not break dance, but they thought that they could. That influenced the whole different culture.
And I remember when B-Dub had the Beat It jacket and used to go to school with the sleeves off.
Nope. You can lie.
What?
Big
Yeah, he's a lie.
Clear the socks up.
You know how I know he lied? Because TJ couldn't even see me, and TJ had some glasses on his face that looked like a windshield. He couldn't even see.
He was getting off the bus talking about I got the gun show.
No, sir. I didn't wear that.
Huh?
I said, put that picture of TJ with them glasses on.
I gotta find that one.
Oh.
Yeah. Then he had look here. Not only did he have the glasses, but he had the cream of Abdul Jabbar strap on him too.
We got you.
Hey man, this show is about Phillip Yates. It's not about me.
Oh yo. All right, we got this one. So this one here includes for me the movie and music. So you got to figure out which one you like the movie the best, and then one you like the music the best. You got it?
Oh, now this is the best one right here.
I already know which one.
I know gotta go. I mean,
know the
Last
movie.
Dragon gotta go.
Last Dragon go. Yeah.
The Last Dragon got. I mean, it's the best. I mean, damn.
What?
Yeah, it's hard.
The soundtrack. I mean, the Wiz.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
No, the movie. This movie
which is the best movie?
Which is the best movie?
Last Dragon.
Okay.
To you? That's
Yeah.
what you said? Okay.
Wait, better than Purple Rain?
No.
Yes.
Man.
Better than 5 Heartbeats?
Ain't nobody like Shogun.
Man, ain't nobody, but can't nobody
go with that, dog. Like it's three more solid movies on there. The Last Dragon, it's not even gonna be 4 if you put it. It's gonna be like 8.
Yeah, 5 Heartbeats. I mean, personally, I can do every word right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
nice like this.
yeah,
That's the best soundtrack.
Ching.
I'm gonna give 5 Heartbeats a soundtrack.
I don't think the soundtrack though.
No.
That's like the Dells. Like
Yeah.
that ain't Leon and Eddie. Yeah, that's whole
Yeah.
different.
My office hours are from Nah.
TJ, you don't find no way because you don't think James Brown the God.
It's the Godfathers.
Oh man.
Hey,
Come on, fit it down.
Like I told you, James Brown is the male Janet Jackson.
Janet?
He don't gotta go. I'm out of here.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
You can't disrespect the Godfather.
He disrespect the Godfather.
Hey man. Hey man, he was dancing for chicken. But let's go to the next
James Brown.
Yeah.
This goes to Black History Month. I'm ashamed, TJ. This goes to Black. All the sports arguments we had on Facebook. Now you discredited. You're discredited.
No. It's starting to make sense to you now.
It's coming together now. I'm putting the pieces together.
He get the Southern. Don't worry about it. He get the Southern. So don't worry about it. Don't.
I mean, he can dance, but beyond that, that's it.
Uncle Robert Dove on. You hear that, Uncle Robert? TJ say
the dude is a pure entertainment.
Man, he was dancing for chicken in the 80s, man. It was too late to still be dancing for chicken at that point.
All right. Speaking of
you hungry, you gonna do something?
Well, I was gonna say speaking of dancing and chickens, but that really don't tie over to Phill and his law.
Everybody saying Roots, they know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Phill.
Too close to Black History Month. I'm not touching it.
Exactly.
I'm not touching it.
Phillip Yates.
What's up?
So you giving us the process on how you went through college and also into law school. In finishing law school, what was your? Because at that point, like it's kind of the end of the process of learning, you would think.
Right.
And then but you still have to have a vision on doing something. And me asking this question, I know the visions you have actually executed to where I want you to talk about that process. But I want to start with your law firm. Like, tell us about that and give your own elevator spiel for that if you want to. It's all about you tonight. So we're trying to catch up with you because you got so much going on, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you. I mean, the process, like you said, started probably at SFA, A-Leaf, at home, just mom planting nuggets. One of the books she gave me was called "Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun?" It said, if you haven't read this, Reginald Lewis. And so getting that book at an early age, I mean, the seed's already planted. And so even before I went to law school, like working at Houston Area Urban League, which is the nonprofit I referenced earlier, I mean, having a chance to lead their economic development program. And even to this day, I mean, they allow me to lead and facilitate their entrepreneurship center, Small Business Development University. I'm working on my plan, which is to help people get access. And so even when I was doing insurance, that's the only thing that I was in love with is the fact that, okay, you get to sit down with somebody, educate them, and if they receive that knowledge, you may be able to change their life or, help them out with generational wealth. So shout out to the Rev because he's actually still in that space. And so I understand the importance of having a good insurance agent. And so that's what it was for law school. So even going through law school, I'm going through different programs like Leadership Houston. You're leading, the Entrepreneurship Center. I'm being active in the community. And so I'm kind of just really continuing to build my infrastructure. So by the time I finished and started my practice, that's really what I built my practice on, is trying to be able to be that person for the community and give them somebody that can give them access to the information they need, the resources, and hopefully change their trajectory. And that's where I'm through entrepreneurship, now corporate work, even some wills in the state, even bankruptcy to this point where we have a niche there that a lot of our people in our community specifically don't truly understand, the importance of how debt can work for you. But even if it's harming you, there's laws on the book in which you can help, you can utilize to alleviate yourself from those pressures. And so it's really that, it's education. I mean, that is my pitch is that, through entrepreneurship, through law and other avenues in which I pursue, I try to be an educational resource so that people in the community can get access to things that allow them to build wealth.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I'm proud of this dude, man. In you having that in gaining that knowledge, one, and also being willing to share it. Like, how has been your channel for being able to do that?
Man, I said the challenge, right? You don't always get paid, and so right. I have a problem because I'm obsessed with, like I said, I had a good life, but I also have seen what it means to not always have, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm obsessed with trying to end generational curses, whether, helping people achieve generational wealth. And so when you talk about channels, like I use myself as a vessel. And so even like, my wife's a God-fearing woman, and I mean, she'll do church anywhere, right? And that's a blessing for me. But I tell my wife, I don't need to actually walk inside a building to do church. Like, this is my ministry. And sometimes it's to my own detriment, where I'll spread myself thin. And Micah, you and I just talked about this, that I give my time, I give my resources, I give my relationships, all to try to help somebody out. And it's rewarded me in one instance. And I think that's part of how blessings work. But at the same time, as you use those channels, it's just been it's been a burden that I have to carry. And I think all of us do it in our own profession. And so that's just my walk. And that's what it's been. So I've tried to leverage everything from, like I said, places I work, the relationships I have, communities that I, the nonprofits, resources. And I'm just trying to make sure I can get it to the community so that I can say, hey, I did my part to push the needle forward. So we don't have to keep revisiting this conversation about generational wealth and marginalized communities, are, just always looking at our community as disenfranchised. Like, at some point, we should be tired of that shit. Like, last year we celebrate Black Wall Street 100 years. And it just infuriates me when I'm sitting across somebody and they're saying, we used to have this in this town and we were all this. I'm like, that was 100 years ago. Why are we still referencing something 100 years ago? Or when Black History Month comes, and TJ just dogged out James Brown, but you gotta mute him next time he does that. But like,
right, exactly. My bad, I'm slow. My fault.
But no, like Martin Luther King. I was like, we are all older than what Martin Luther King lived to be. Why is he still like, that shouldn't be our measure? Like, that shouldn't be our ceiling. Or Malcolm X, who didn't get to live to be 40, or Tupac Shakur, which you still, every time we celebrate his death anniversary, it's like, how can he be the best at something he didn't get a chance to live out a full life? At some point, our community needs to be able to live out our full life and our full potential. And that's what I'm hoping I'm able to do through the channels. Because, again, I feel like we're the only ones that are marginalized. And we have these minimum expectations because we are still a young community. And we're talking about 400 years. Well, it's only been, 60 years in which we had an opportunity to live the life that you and I are living. We're on this podcast cutting up, but we're all professionals having a good time. Shit, 60 years ago, we would all be... probably at the bottom of a river.
If we were chasing somebody that didn't look like us, we bit that river.
I was talking about TJ. TJ's going down, man. Ever since he's talking about James Brown.
Well, he's going down. He's trying to get away with that a little bit.
He goes to
the
I'm gonna take it offline because I don't want to offend people. Because if I had my own show, I'd hurt a lot of feelings talking about James Brown. So we'll talk about that offline. Look. I read up on stuff. Yeah, well, she would be upset with the stuff that I read as well.
That go y'all.
Hey, but let's transition to Equiliberty Inc. So, technology company that's designed to build diversity and property ownership, support minority businesses and neighborhoods, and link people to information. Tell us about, your reasons for wanting to start this and launching this and get it off the ground. Talk about some of the positive things that are ongoing, but then also some of the challenges that you have as well.
Yeah, no, good. Thanks for just throwing it out there, TJ. And talking about Equiliberty, I mean, even transition from the last question, I talk about that burden. All of us have mentored somebody or tried to make a deposit into somebody. And then you start thinking about it, one, did you actually reach that person? And then you start saying, okay, in your lifetime, how much can you really do if it has to always be one-on-one? And thankfully, we come in a time where you have technology that allows you to actually grow something exponentially if you have the right systems, you have the right technology. Like this podcast, you're going to reach as many people as you like. I mean, you shared it on my page, you're sharing on your individual page, and you're building a platform. So every week y'all get to reach people using technology. And that's how I felt. It's like I'm in these classrooms or I'm in these doing these workshops and you're reaching 28 people. What if we packaged up something similar and we said, hey, let's teach people about financial literacy, and then let's gamify the process so that now you're encouraging them, giving them community so that they can now work towards achieving their wealth building goals. And then let's start unlocking capital, because capital is made for everybody. I mean, I know a lot of times we talk about racism, but really the racism is in the laws in which they created. And a lot of those we have done away with, but now it's us understanding how those laws work so we can make them work for us. And so what if we gamified that process? And so that's what we did for Equiliberty, where we use technology, gamification to really change those habits so that now we build people who are bankable, investable, and then we build a realm so that more people can now start qualifying for early stage capital for their entrepreneurship endeavors and other things they need to do to build wealth. And so the challenges were, one, you have to learn technology. I mean, I'm a lawyer, and everything else I just did in the community. And so I had to go out there and find people. Thankfully, I shout out to my cousin, Rachel Howard. She came on as my CTO, which is going back to a premise, I believe, that we have everything we need in our community. And so just talking to a family member, said, yeah, I'll come on board. And then I started reaching out to other people who had the resources that I needed in order to build the startup and build at least a package where I can go out there and start getting investments. So raised the capital I needed, built a beta product. And so far, the community has responded favorably. I mean, surprisingly, I didn't think so, but more people are saying, look, hey, how can I support it? And then now I'm looking to the point where we can start building community, because all of us, I was listening to y'all's commercials, and it's like just so much economic power in what y'all were doing with those commercials, like giving somebody a shout out. Now I'm going to go patronize the little Creole off the Beltway. I mean, what if we did that through technology and then even added capital? And there's alternative ways for people to invest. And so we can start unlocking our own wealth and then invest into our own and then building up community that way. And so that's the goal of Equiliberty. I'm really excited about what's going to happen, this year, later this year through Black Entrepreneurs Week. And I hope you guys are involved in it.
Okay. Yeah. Is there any, when it comes to Black entrepreneurship, as far as us getting involved in it, what are ways that we can, not only the Is What It Is crew, but also our viewers, how can we support?
So, I mean, there's two ways, right? I mean, you're a creator or you're a mentor, is how I'm looking at it early stage. And then we're building the community of capital resources, our financial institutions, and some of those startup development organizations, government entities. But people like us, if you are in a position, you can be a mentor if you're already an entrepreneur, or you already understand how finances work, or you're in the marketing or in one of these disciplines in which you can help share your knowledge. Otherwise, you also, if you're a creator, it's like, why not start having that conversation? I mean, we're having some great conversations here from, pop culture, all the way to Black history, all the way to now entrepreneurship. Like, everybody at home should be having conversations about financial literacy. How do you balance it used to be a checkbook, but your bank account? How do you make taxes work for you? How do you start building your estate? When can you start a business? And so that's what we're going to encourage people to do, is start having it at home so that now we can work in our community as entrepreneurs, but those who are now prudent and then are financially literate. And so that's the first step. We want more people in our community to feel more confident about how their finances operate, so that when we start unlocking capital, more people can qualify it. Because just right now, I don't care how many initiatives you have. We've been doing it for years where, okay, if you're a business owner, we'll say, hey, 30% of these businesses will go to a Black business owner or a woman business owner. Well, if you have a low density of people who can qualify for that resource, it's no good. It just looks good on paper and they parade it around. And so we need more of us to understand how finances work, pursue entrepreneurship, and then let's make sure we put them on the path to get the capital they need to grow. So now we have more scalable, successful businesses in our community.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Buddy, do we have time? Do we have time for another question? Can we get one more?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
If Phill has time, we have time.
So I know last year, Mayor Sylvester Turner appointed you to serve on the City of Houston Firefighters and Police Officers Civil Service Commission, and you're the chairman of the commission at this point. Um, Tell me about how that was going, because I know from what we saw through the media and what we historically, for those of us that live here in the Houston area, know that those two departments haven't always been on the same page, the firefighters as well as the police department. And I know there was some back and forth actually between the firefighters and the mayor himself as well. So tell us a little bit about, your work that you've done there and how that's been going.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, I wasn't appointed at that time. I do remember, and I think both sides handled it well or got it resolved. But even once I got that appointment, people were reaching out to me and saying, I'm glad you're there because we need somebody who can be a voice. And that's how I look at it. Everything I do, you're a voice of your community. And so that community does include our mayor. That community, that voice does include the people who serve through the police department, the fire department, or the city of Houston. But it also is all the taxpayers in the city of Houston. And so it's a privilege for me just to be in that position where I can be judicial. I can listen to both sides. I have the law in front of me. Obviously, I understand the law. And just another way to serve, but being fair and impartial towards what that outcome can be. Because a lot of times, again, I think anytime you have a disagreement or you have two sides that aren't on the same page, because somebody's not being heard. And so I'm in that position to listen, hear, and then making sure that everybody gets that fair opportunity to be heard. And obviously, we make the best ruling we can based on the facts in front of us.
That's awesome.
That's good
stuff. Thank you for what you've been doing. Continue that. We want to, give you your flowers now. And like Buddy mentioned earlier, we're definitely proud of everything that you've been doing, and to see where you came from and where you're at now, it's definitely an inspiration.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, proud of you, man. You
exactly.
I'm looking up to you, definitely. So it's a
process. We all are.
Absolutely. So you're leading, and you're leading by example. So we really appreciate what you're doing, man. I just want to get you on and just say thank you for what you're doing.
And even though he's not the greatest player ever, as you and I have gone back and forth on, keep the Mamba mentality going.
Right.
Where's it at? you know it, TJ. No.
Hey, that's what it is. Thank you again, man. Really appreciate it, man. We're gonna get out of here. Really appreciate everything. Thank you and your family for giving you time to do this also.
Yeah.
Chelsea, appreciate you, Chelsea.
Man. Keep it up.
Don't you get ballet practices either.
I know.
Going on late at night.
Right. I will be there next week, and I'm on my way home. But no, thank you, brothers, for allowing me on. This was actually the most fun I've ever had on one of these podcasts. Usually, I'm all over the tight, but you got keep it going. We need this, and then hopefully you continue to just have positive people that you can make sure that people get information. But this is the way we receive information. Like this is our culture, so. Yeah. The salute goes to y'all, and Micah, obviously, you know what you mean to me. If you didn't pick me up in that Jeep at the blacktop behind Hall 16 or Hall 20 or wherever it was when I was playing basketball, me and Buck, who knows? I may be somewhere in the corner shooting dice.
My bad. I messed up your career. My bad.
You really did. Right, you should let me do more practice.
Right. Exactly. No, it's all good. It's all good.
I appreciate you, brothers.
Oh, yeah. No, thank you, man. Really appreciate it. Real, what you got for us, man?
Hey, man, y'all know it's been a great show this evening. We had the boy with my namesake, Phillip Yates, on here this evening, sharing knowledge about it is what it is. And until next time, y'all know what it is. It's checkout time around here. Dr. James Mosley, I see you. Tell him to touch, hug, love. Stay sucker free, and most of all, y'all just don't hurt nobody. But until next time, we gotta go. We gotta go.